I recently made a video showcasing the Reaper Gun Mark V, demonstrating its unique ability to kill stuff at range. After uploading it, and still seeing some misconceptions like the Mark II is better, I decided to record this video to compare all three marks and discuss their current balance and how to improve it. First of all, no, the Mark II is not better than the Mark V. The Mark V has much better long-range capabilities due to a very high minimum pellet count guaranteed per hit. But it also deals more DPS at close range. The only thing the Mark II has over the Mark V is more gentle recoil. In spite of my love for the Mark V, I don't think it's healthy for the game to have one variant dominate every single niche. The reason the gun is so dominant at close range is its insane fire rate, and the reason it's so strong at sniping is its really high minimum pellet count. To clarify, here's how the minimum pellet count mechanic works, thanks to Commissar Tier for sharing it. When hitting an enemy with fewer pellets than the minimum pellet count showed here, you will deal damage equal to that minimal pellet count. For instance, if I hit an enemy with only 2 pellets and that enemy's armor type is flak, it will do the damage of 5 pellets, assuming I'm embraced. This comparison is interesting as this mechanic functions very differently depending on which mark you're using. The Mark II is barely affected by bracing, and the Mark VI isn't affected at all. The Mark V, however, is severely lowering its damage floor when bracing. Now, I know the community is going to froth at the mouth at the mere mention of the nerf word, especially with the game in such a dire state, but I don't want Fatshark to dumpster the Mark V and massively buff the Mark VI. Having a new best variant isn't what I'm looking for. Instead, I want each mark of the Reaper Gun to do something different, and I have some ideas on how to do it, especially when it comes to bracing, as that mechanic is currently a net negative and makes your gun worse in every way. Although the Mark VI seems to get better DPS when braced from the comparison I've just shown, this advantage disappears when taking the bracing animation into account. To get it out of the way first, I would slightly nerf the ammo count on the Mark V, maybe even its magazine size, and increase the delay between bursts. I would keep its current damage per shot and its minimum pellet count. With these changes, the gun could still fulfill the niche of mid to long range sniping. It would still rely on its fun burst cancelling tech and heavy recoil control, but now it would be less devastating in close quarters and slightly less ammo efficient. With a longer delay between bursts, bracing would now have a purpose, letting you lay down successive shots more quickly than by spamming bursts, allowing the Mark V to once again shred things in close quarters at the cost of some mobility and a delay caused by the bracing animation. Maybe make the reload slightly slower to further emphasize that you need to make your shots count with this variant. I wouldn't change too much on the Mark II, reducing the length of the bracing animation and increasing the rate of fire bonus that it provides would make it perform its niche of close range obliteration much better. I would decrease the movement speed penalty when braced to further strengthen its close range capabilities, making it ideal for charging into patrols. The slight nerfs to the Mark V should be enough to let it shine where it's supposed to, as the gun already performs so well it tricked a lot of players into thinking it was the best Reaper variant. The Mark VI needs a rework. Its current niche of doing nothing better than either the Mark II or the Mark V but being easier to use isn't useful or interesting. My proposed changes to the Mark V would keep it as a generalist hybrid that is capable of sniping distant threats but needs careful shot placement to do so, and is capable of mulching stuff up close when braced. I think the Mark VI should go all in on the long range stuff. Reduce its ammo pool slightly, but make it deal tremendous damage per shot, even over long distances. It's a bit weird to me that the gun with the easiest to control recoil and the slowest rate of fire isn't the designated long-range variant. I like that it has a lower pellet count, and I feel this quirk could be used to its advantage. Massively reduce the spread, give it a high minimum pellet count, or leave it low and rely on its high accuracy instead, and increase the damage each pellet does by a lot. Bracing should do the opposite of what it does to other marks. Make it semi-auto, reduce the spread even further, and let it cleave more targets to snipe through some density. With these changes to the Reaper guns, I think we would have 3 very different guns, each with different strengths, weaknesses, and unique functionalities. My idea with these suggestions was to help each gun have a purpose without invalidating each other, by leaning into their respective strengths, weaknesses, and unique quirks further. I don't want any one gun to be totally unable to perform in a certain area, but they should have clear, differentiating strengths and weaknesses. Of course, I am not saying that these exact changes are what needs to happen to fix the Ripper gun balance, but I think it would be an interesting direction to take. If you have any other ideas on how Ripper guns could be further differentiated, be sure to let me know, as I think it's an interesting discussion to have.